Hey Chimichangas, it's Charlie. So this is going to be my Deadpool video. Ryan Reynolds and the studio confirmed some things about the movies this past weekend, so we have a lot to talk about. Like, we have an official synopsis now. Here's what it says. Deadpool tells the origin story of former Special Forces operative turned mercenary Wade Wilson, who, after being subjected to a rogue experiment that leaves him with accelerated healing powers, adopts the alter ego Deadpool. Armed with his new abilities and a dark, twisted sense of humor, Deadpool hunts down the man who nearly destroyed his life. So we have a lot of things from Weapon X that we've seen in the X-Men films so far that they're going to weave into this, and I think, some suggestions as to who the main villain's going to be. What I think is that they'll use Dr. Killbrew and Ajax as the villains of the movie, or at least Dr. Killbrew. They haven't confirmed any official villains yet. They've only really announced like a couple of the characters, including Morena Baccarin, who's playing Copycat. If you weren't already excited about Ryan Reynolds coming back in a new Deadpool origin story, then get pumped for Morena Baccarin kicking some major ass. Seriously, she's like the queen of the comic book genre right now. She's on The Flash as the Gideon Computer, she's on Gotham as Leslie Tompkins, and now she's in the X-Men universe as Copycat. Don't worry, I'm going to do a whole separate video about her eventually, just because she's a really interesting character, and Morena Baccarin's awesome. They've already confirmed the Deadpool movie is a spin-off from the X-Men films, the first-class films that they've been doing the last couple of years. The timeline is a little wonky because they had that post-credit scene in Days of Future Past, so here's my general explainer as to how this Deadpool movie fits in with the other X-Men films that are happening, including Apocalypse. Just careful for spoilers from Days of Future Past. I'm assuming you've all seen it by now, but I'll give you a second. Okay, here we go. So, forget about the teaser at the end of that when they flash forward to the future with Wolverine and Patrick Stewart. Just put that out of your mind. They're not changing that. That still happens, but because X-Men Apocalypse takes place in the 80s, right after Days of Future Past, the Deadpool movie is probably going to take place around then too. Deadpool's origin story is all about Weapon X, and at the end of Days of Future Past, if you remember, William Stryker dredged Wolverine up from the bottom of the river. Well, really, it was Mystique masquerading as William Stryker. The teaser is that William Stryker was going to induct him into the Weapon X program. Wolverine came before Deadpool in the Weapon X program. The problem is that, because Mystique changed the timeline, she saved Wolverine pretending to be William Stryker. There's a lot of questions as to how he's going to get his adamantium, because he does eventually get it. Just assume that Weapon X still exists, and at some point Wolverine does get his adamantium from them. The reason I don't think that they're going to change that, even though they changed the timeline a little bit, is because Deadpool got his healing factor from Wolverine inside the Weapon X program, so Weapon X has to get their hands on Wolverine's healing factor. In the comics, Weapon X gives Wolverine his adamantium during the 80s, so it fits in the timeline with Days of Future Past and Apocalypse. What I think is going to happen is that we'll have the events of Apocalypse, and then the Deadpool movie will take place in the timeline right after that. Don't ask me how Wolverine 3 is supposed to fit into this. I think that will also occur in the timeline after the Deadpool movie and Apocalypse, but because we don't know anything about that story yet, just don't worry about it. Here's a quick explainer for Deadpool's backstory in the comics, like how he got started with Weapon X, how he got his powers. So, funny story, Rob Liefeld is Deadpool's creator in the comics. He created him in the early 90s. There's a really funny story, a funny Rob Liefeld story behind it. Rob Liefeld came up with the idea, sent it to the artist, and the artist said, "This is Deathstroke, dude. Seriously, this is totally Deathstroke from the DC Comics." So they changed the design just a little bit, and they gave him the name Wade Wilson as a spin, as an inside joke on Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke. Comic book history is littered with characters that are riffs of other pre-existing characters, so this is nothing new. The really funny thing is that Rob Liefeld actually wrote on the New 52 Deathstroke title whenever DC Comics was doing the New 52 stuff back in 2012. He quit that title in the middle of the run. He's like, I can't take it anymore, this is crazy. There were a lot of logistical editorial problems with the DC New 52 run. That's a whole other story. But I just think it's funny that Rob Liefeld kind of borrowed, quote-unquote borrowed, the Deathstroke character to create Deadpool, and then quit a Deathstroke title he was writing later. The universe works in mysterious ways. We don't know a whole lot about Wade Wilson's childhood, other than he had some undiagnosed mental problems. He was very aloof, but eventually he became a mercenary. During his adventures, he fell in love with a woman named Vanessa Carlyle, who had not become Copycat yet. She's Copycat in the comics. She has this really awesome power. It's a lot like Mystique's. She can shapeshift, but it goes down to the genetic level, so she can mimic other people's powers in a way that Mystique cannot. Like I said, I'm totally going to do another bonus video for her, just because she's really interesting, and Morena Baccarin is amazing. Eventually, he learned he had cancer, broke ties with Vanessa Carlyle, and joined the Weapon X program. Weapon X and Department K grew out of the original Captain America Super Soldier program. They're like a dark, twisted future version of the Super Soldier program. They got Wilson to join the program by saying they could fix his cancer. They gave him Wolverine's healing factor. That fixed the cancer. The problem is that it did not fix his underlying mental instability. And in a very evil genie type situation, be careful what you wish for type stuff, as a result of the healing factor, he can't take drugs to balance himself out, and they can't physically alter his brain to try and fix it. Any changes they try to make to it, chemical or biological, his body just burns off immediately. So he is stuck crazy. There was a time later in the comics when he lost his healing factor, but it still didn't fix his brain. So it's like the character is always going to be crazy. So while this is all going on in the comics, he's still Wade Wilson. He hasn't become Deadpool yet, but he does have the healing factor. He starts going on missions with Weapon X, ends up killing one of his teammates. They boot him out of the program and send him to a facility where they send washouts. That is where he runs into Dr. Killbrew and his assistant Ajax, two very, very evil people. While he's in the facility, they perform all kinds of crazy experiments on him and the other washouts. He does end up meeting and falling in love with the cosmic entity Death, starts trying to kill himself over and over so he can join her, which was kind of crazy and funny at the same time. Cut to later, he pisses off Ajax, the assistant, so much that Ajax messes up Wilson's friend in the program so bad that Wilson is forced to kill him out of mercy. Ajax rips Wilson's heart out of his chest and leaves him for dead, just like dumps the body. His healing factor regrows him a heart, but it doesn't fix all the scars on his body, so he starts looking more like the Deadpool that you see today without the mask on. While he was in the facility being tested on, all the other test subjects developed a Deadpool to bet on who would survive the longest, like who would go the longest without dying from the experiments. Deadpool takes that name and vows revenge on Ajax and Killbrew. So that's where you get the Deadpool name, that's where it came from. Because this movie is telling kind of the origin story of Deadpool, I think that we're going to see a version of that play out on screen. They'll probably make some minor changes. I'm not expecting to see the cosmic entity Death. I know everyone kind of wants to see Death in the Marvel Universe eventually, but technically this is an X-Men film, so who knows what they're going to do with that. They might just substitute Vanessa Carlyle for Death. Maybe Marvel can make that happen. Like, Death can take Vanessa Carlyle's face. Here's my big question for you guys. Which other big Deadpool characters do you want to see in this movie? And do you think that they're going to put Death in the movie too? Fox has not done a Shi'ar movie. They haven't done like a space-based X-Men universe movie yet. So they're like 3 steps away from doing cosmic entities. Like I said, my next Deadpool bonus video is going to be about Morena Baccarin's copycat character. Be sure to subscribe to get that. If there are any other like special Deadpool videos you guys want me to do, let me know. But I'll try and post that sometime next week. There's like a whole bunch of awesome stuff happening in the next couple of days that I need to get out. Here's a quick update on my video schedule for like the next day or two, just because there's like 3 or 4 videos I'm trying to get out. So they just confirmed Hawkgirl for the Arrow Flash spinoff. So I'm going to do a video for that before Flash tomorrow. I also have the Walking Dead Q&A. Don't worry, I'm giving away 2 gift certificates in that. And I have a special Crunchyroll giveaway that I'm going to do. So I'll try and drop that all tomorrow morning, or at least all that stuff by Wednesday morning. You guys have no idea how excited I get when like all this awesome news just dumps at once all at the same time. While you guys wait for that, in case you haven't seen it yet, you can click here for my top 5 Deadpool stories from the comics, and you can click here for my Walking Dead finale video from last night. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five and go get some chimichangas.